For millennia, certain texts have described this hidden architecture to the universe. Think of it like an operating system, but not one made of code and circuits. No, this one's built on symbols, intentions, and forces. And according to these sources, it's an operating system we can actually interact with to reshape our reality and even expand our own consciousness.
Okay, this quote right here, this gets right to the heart of the whole thing. The core idea in these texts is that the universe isn't some dead, empty void. Not at all. It's a living system, and it responds to two things that are uniquely human: focused thought, our mind, and deliberate words, our speech. And trust me, that principle is the foundation for everything we're about to get into.
So, to even begin to understand the practice, we first have to get our heads around the theory of the cosmos that these texts lay out. You can think of it as the user manual for reality itself.
Now this is a fascinating map of reality. According to the Renaissance philosopher Cornelius Agrippa, the universe isn't flat. It's this layered system where influence literally flows downwards, starting from the divine, the intellectual realm, passing through the celestial world of stars and planets, and finally manifesting right here in our physical, elementary world.
And here are the nuts and bolts, the basic physics of that material world. Everything we can see and touch is described as some combination of these four elements and their qualities. So for the practitioner, the goal isn't just to know this stuff. It's to learn how to balance and actually direct these opposing forces.
Okay, so that's the big picture theory. But how does this stuff actually apply in practice? Well, according to these systems, before you can even think about engaging with the universe, you first have to prepare the most important instrument you have, yourself. And we're not just talking about some empty ritual here. Texts like the Magic of the Psalms describe these specific 7 psalms as an incredibly powerful tool for a deep internal cleansing. The whole point is to purify yourself from all that accumulated negativity to get back to what the text calls your true divine state.
This kind of work also demands a very specific mindset. The sources are crystal clear. Doubt is a barrier. It's like static on the line that prevents effective communication. And just as critical is the ethical side of it. Your intentions have to be pure and aligned with the highest good of all involved.
And this discipline, it doesn't just stop with the mind. Oh no, it extends to the physical body. Classical texts like the Key of Solomon are really strict about this, requiring things like fasting and ritual bathing. It's all about treating the practitioner's body with the same reverence as a sacred temple, which really underscores just how serious this work is. All right, so with the practitioner prepared in mind, body, and spirit, now we get to turn to the really cool stuff, the diverse technologies and tools that are described in these systems for focusing and directing all these forces. And right away, you can see this fascinating split. On one side, you've got these highly structured ceremonial tools from old texts, like the Key of Solomon, the consecrated knife, the sword, the protective circle. But then on the other side, you have these more accessible, faith-based tools that evolved over time, like a simple book of Psalms or a deck of archangel cards. Now, these are described as being way more than just symbolic drawings. The sources talk about them like they're cosmic circuits, each one meticulously designed to channel the very specific energies and, intelligences of the 7 classical planets and their ruling angels. And here you can see a more modern evolution of that exact same principle. Instead of focusing on planets, systems like the Archangel Energy cards use these sacred seals to focus the mind on specific divine attributes, like communication for Gabriel or divine mercy for Zadkiel, all through these really powerful symbolic images. So we have all these tools and all this preparation, but how is it all actually put into practice? Let's take a look at the core components of what these texts call a magical operation. What's really amazing is that when you look across all these different sources, from the ancient texts to the modern guides, a surprisingly consistent structure starts to appear. It almost always kicks off with purification and setting your intent. That's followed by precise timing, using things like planetary hours or moon phases. Then comes the invocation of forces, and finally, directing all that energy through focused visualization and will. The classical approach, like this one from the Key of Solomon, is, it's pretty formal and commanding. You can just hear it in the language, can't you? It's packed with divine names, and it relies on this whole cosmic hierarchy, where the practitioner is basically commanding spirits by invoking the authority of even higher powers. And then, in total contrast, modern systems translate these super complex operations into practices that, frankly, anyone can approach.
Instead of commanding, the practitioner is requesting assistance. Complex conjurations get replaced with accessible techniques, like a guided meditation or breathwork focused on colored light, or simple devotional invocations. It's a real shift.
So all of this, the discipline, the rituals, the tools, it all leads us to the most important question of all. Beyond specific desires like getting healing or protection, what is the ultimate purpose of engaging with these complex and, let's be honest, demanding systems?
I mean, is it all just about gaining power over the world? Is it a way to fulfill your material desires and just bend reality to your will?
Well, it turns out that while fulfilling desires is seen as a perfectly valid use of the art, it's not the primary goal. The ultimate aim, as this quote suggests, is actually spiritual evolution, the expansion of your own consciousness. And so that leaves us with this final, really provocative question. How are we supposed to understand these systems? Are they ancient technologies for altering consciousness? Are they just incredibly sophisticated psychological tools for focusing the mind? Or are they literal guidebooks to an unseen world filled with spirits and angels? The texts, they just present a framework, a kind of ladder, and they leave the final interpretation up to the person who actually chooses to climb it.